Hey guys, we're back. I've grown out the beard. I've been so unwell, so just loads of time has passed since I've been doing these individual recordings, guys. But today, it doesn't matter about the facial hair. We're going to be focusing on a gentleman known by the name of Alex Costa, who's one of the biggest fashion YouTubers out there. He's a very stylish gentleman, a very good soul by the looks of things. Alex Costa has made several fragrance videos over the years. I've reacted to him a few times now. But in the past, I've always kind of felt like Alex kind of just copy and pasted what the mainstream fragrances were, put it onto his own list. However, I feel like as time has gone on, he's made more of his own taste in fragrances. He's developed his own style with fragrances. And I feel like his lists get more and more interesting. So this is a video from 1 month ago, 8 best men's fragrances for 2025, 128,000 views. Let's see what Alex's top 8 fragrances are for this year currently.
Have you noticed how many new fragrances we're seeing every single day? It literally feels like brands are just shipping them out, just launching new scents faster than ever before.
Yeah, I agree with that. Too many releases, too many redundancies that just don't really add anything to the game.
So it can definitely be a little overwhelming and tough to find a new fragrance for you. I own close to 200 fragrances, and out of all of them, I chose these 8 bottles to talk about today. Now, I spent a couple of weeks in Dubai earlier this year, and I didn't know this, but the Dubai Mall has the greatest selection of fragrances that I've ever seen. I tried so many fragrances while I was there, but there was one that stood out to me. Hypnotizing Fire by the Harmonist. And it's not a Dubai brand or anything, it just happened that I found it there. They're from the UK, if I'm not mistaken. The first time I sprayed this at the Dubai Mall, it was instant chemistry. This fragrance gives off a warm, almost comforting vibe. It opens up very nicely with spices and then sweet vanilla that rounds it out perfectly.
Okay, so I have never actually tried this fragrance. I've heard things about it. This is like one of the few fragrances on this list that I don't know about. The rest of them I have tried, the guys, from what I've kind of taken a little sneak peek as to what's coming up. But let me just look at the quick note breakdown of this and see what I think of the note breakdown. So I'm looking at my phone because my laptop goes crazy. You can hear the fan already, but I'm going to look at the, okay, wearability seems to be a cold weather nighttime signature, so I feel like it's going to be very rich. Pimento pepper gives a spiciness to cloves. Yeah, cloves can be a very intense, probably the most intense spicy note out there in perfumery. It's very fiery, warm, very thick as well. If you have cloves in a fragrance, you're pretty much going to be slotting it into a cold weather wearability because it's such a thick note in general. Rose, praline, patchouli, epopanax, these are all very thick, what we would traditionally be called oriental style fragrance notes, the vanilla as well, benzoin. So these are all just very sweet, intense notes. This sounds delicious, honestly. This sounds really interesting. I feel like Opopanax is a very underrated note. It's got this dense, ambery, resinous woodiness. It smells Middle Eastern because all Middle Eastern fragrances understandably have these kind of notes, these resins. Yeah, people are saying it's middle of the road unisex. It sounds like it just looking at the notes. This sounds very interesting. If I ever get a chance to see this brand, I'll try out this fragrance. If you guys tried it out, let us know in the comments below.
Moving on to the next fragrance. To me, this is the most special fragrance on this list. A fragrance that means so much to me and smells like nothing else out there. Forte series Antagonist EDP. This is a smoky, woody fragrance, and what you can smell immediately when you spray it.
So I believe, I'm just going to stop it there. I think Forte series is Alex's own brand, which he probably should have started off with. Let me just double check that. Yeah, looking at their homepage, yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say this is Alex's own brand. So it's kind of lame how he didn't just start off with saying, look, I get it, bro. I promote my own fragrances on the videos here as well. I always say Atrium, our own fragrances, first of all. And I don't put it in the main list. I think maybe I did like 1 or 2 videos, but you know, I always say that it's our own brand. So it's a bit lame how he didn't start off with that. I'm just going to skip this part. But hey, yeah, if now you know, Alex has his own sort of men's personal care brand out there called Forte.
When this next fragrance was announced, I was like, I gotta try it. It's probably gonna be incredible, and I wasn't wrong, man. This is Creed Absolu Aventus, and the original Aventus is so good, right? Part of me was skeptical. I didn't think it could get any better, And I can admit that I was wrong. Creed did it again. They took Aventus, which is considered to be one of the best fragrances of all time, right? By the way, I'll get some pushback on that claim, but fragrances have their cycles. Acqua di Gio had its cycle, Bleu de Chanel, Aventus, and sure, they might not be the powerhouse fragrances they once were, but they're still incredible scents that dominated that time.
Yeah, perhaps actually. Do you think actually some of these classics are going out of style, out of date? Aventus Absolu, I will say, yes, it was pretty impressive by Creed that they did actually make a very good fragrance. I think everyone can kind of agree that it's a very good scent. It's a more rich, less pineapple-focused take on Aventus, a bit more heavy with the oak moss, with the vetiver in there. It's a bit more mature, more elegant. So it's citrusy, woody, mossy, very clean, still very attractive. Has that mass appeal of the original, but made more interesting, I would say, and longer lasting. But a lot of people will agree that the price is a bit crazy. I don't know if it's worth that price tag, but there is always alternatives like Club Nuit, Intense Mad Perseus, or Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition if you don't want to spend that kind of price tag. But yes, Aventus Absolu is pretty good. 37.9% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys really want to see our channel grow, go ahead and click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you.
So I was really on the fence about including this next fragrance on the list today, and it's not because I don't think the scent deserves it, because it definitely does. It's just because I feel like a broken record. I've talked about this fragrance, at least a version of this fragrance, so many times, past 4 or 5 years. So I'm sorry to bring it up again, but I couldn't leave it out. Tom Ford, Ombré Leather, Parfum. And I like this version even better than the OG. This is less leathery than the original, which is like pure dark leather. But this is crazy strong. It's powerful, it's masculine. It's for the man who wants attention, who commands respect. It's not for a teenager. It's not for a guy who's going out with friends to get ice cream. You know, this is sexy, this is mature.
Yeah, Ombré Leather Parfum was pretty good actually. I tried it a full wearing, I believe, from a department store when it, well, you know, not too long after it came out. It's a very interesting take on Ombré Leather, the original. So Ombré Leather, or also called Eau d'Ombré Leather, the new one, that is a bit more mass appealing, a little bit more simple. It's not as interesting, although I do think it smells quite good. Ombré Leather Parfum is a bit more niche, I would say, a bit more challenging. It's got a kind of got like this powdery violet floral effect about it. It's a bit more unisex, I would say, compared to the original. I think the original needs a bit more masculine. This, to me, is very dense and thick, the Ombré Leather Parfum, but it's not projecting massively like Alex says, in my opinion. I think it's more like a soft and medium projecting fragrance, but lasts over 12 hours, very long lasting. If you want a less versatile version of Ombré Leather, you kind of want to take your Ombré Leather game to the next level. You want an interesting cold weather signature that lands unisex in the middle, in my opinion. You can try Ombré Leather Parfum. It's not very easy to understand, in my opinion, but it's a cool scent. I appreciate Tom Ford for making that release.
I had a really hard time deciding between these two fragrances for this list, but I made my choice. So we have two. This is Parfum de Mali, Perseus, or Greenley. And I wore Perseus a lot more over the summer, but I'm actually gonna include Greenley on this list. And I'm doing that just because it's a little bit more mature to me. It just, I don't know, it spoke to me when I picked it up to choose the fragrances for this list. I'm gonna be wearing this a lot, especially when it gets warm outside in the spring, in the summer. This is for the guy who wants to make sure that he smells great.
I don't see the hype behind Greenley. I think a lot of people go crazy for it. To me, I feel like this fragrance reminds me of LV's Imagination. Everyone goes crazy for that fragrance. Everyone goes crazy for Greenley. I think they're both overpriced. I think Greenley smells like Head & Shoulders green apple shampoo, like that variety. Believe it or not, guys, I used to actually use that shampoo, you know, like a millennia ago. But I do think Greenley is just, you know, it's nice, not bad. It's like a green apple citrusy, oak moss based woody, very musky fragrance. It smells quite synthetic. I do think it's overpriced, like a lot of the freshies in Parfum de Marly. This is not a bad fragrance. It's definitely worth trying out. I personally am more of a Team Sedley kind of guy, but Greenley is nice. It lasts a long time. I think it lasted around 10 hours from what I remember. But yeah, that synthetic nature, and actually I think it's quite youthful. And you see it on TikTok as well. A lot of young guys like this fragrance. I'm not sure if it's as mature as Alex says. I'm not sure if I agree with that. But hey, you kind of just got to try it out and see what you think of it. Some people love Galloway as well. That's a bit of a rogue choice from Parfum de Marly. I love Percival and Sedley the most, I think, out of all the freshies. But hey, I can understand why Greenley is here. What do you guys think? Do you think Greenley is one of the best freshies from Parfum de Marly or not? Let us know in the comments.
This next bottle, I wore this all fall, and I wore it for a while, and then I put it away when spring came around. This fall, my girlfriend walks by me one day and I could tell she smelled familiar, but I wasn't sure what it was. We played this game. I always try to guess her fragrance, and this one stumped me for a minute, but I figured it out. She was wearing my fragrance, and this is Replica Maison Margiela by the Fireplace. And I'm not gonna lie, I just hate when brands tell you that a fragrance is unisex. I don't know, for me, it's either for men or it's for women. Just tell me what it is, because I don't wanna buy a fragrance that ends up being too flowery or too feminine and I can't wear it. But I understand that, you know, everything is blended now. I get that. By the Fireplace smells exactly like it sounds. It's smoky, sweet vanilla, it's got warm spices, and they describe it as burning wood and chestnut.
By the Fireplace is one of the better fragrances from Maison Margiela. I did a viral Maison Margiela buying guide years ago. To me, it might be the second best fragrance from the brand. Jazz Club is my #1 still to this day. By the Fireplace, there's a cool idea. It's quite a difficult fragrance to wear. Again, it's very intense. You kind of just have to either love it or you kind of just don't want to wear it. It is sort of like if you took Stronger With You, like that entire line, and kind of just amped it up by like 50. That's what By the Fireplace is. Woody, chestnut, it smells like you're roasting marshmallows by a really smoky fireplace, like you're at a bonfire. So it has an interesting smokiness, a woodiness, and a slightly gourmand aspect to it as well. It's a cool idea. It has fantastic performance as well. You do have Amir Al Oud Intense if you want a more affordable option that smells a bit more masculine to my nose. I'm not the hugest fan of this DNA. I feel like it's got limited wearability, but hey, yeah, it's still a great fragrance overall, I would say.
A fragrance that surprised me, and I didn't think I was gonna like this as much as I do, Stronger With You Intensely by Emporio Armani. Now, this bottle is simple, it's unassuming, it's not an expensive scent. It's actually the cheapest one on the list, $110 for this 100 ml bottle. To me, it's vanilla, toffee, and amber blended up in a bottle. It's definitely sweet, it's definitely sexy. If you like the chocolatey, caramelly scent, this is beautiful.
Okay, so yeah, basically, Alex Costa likes By the Fireplace. I'm not surprised he likes this. Stronger With You Intensely. It is that basic, more simple version of something like By the Fireplace. It's ambery, chestnuts, woody. Stronger With You in general as a line is very beginner friendly. It's a nice, good performing line. If you want medium to loud projecting evening perfume that's very mass appealing, this entire line is good for you. Intensely is a bit more sweet, so I find it a little bit less dynamic. It's very much like one-dimensional with the sweetness, with that vanilla / toffee note. I feel like every Stronger With You flanker has like one note in it. I prefer Absolutely personally. I like that rum booziness. It kind of gives a different aspect, a more interesting take on the Stronger With You line. But how many of these flankers do we need, guys? Let's be honest here. Just pick 1 or 2 max of whatever you like from Stronger With You. I don't know. Do you guys agree with me? I feel like Stronger With You just has too much similarities and overlaps in all its flankers. But hey, maybe I'm wrong.
These are the fragrances I recommend. You can't go wrong with any of them. They smell absolutely amazing.
Okay, interesting list. Pretty cool. I think Alex's taste is really developing nicely. I skipped out Fragrance Dubois Oud Bleu Intense in this list. We'll leave a link to the original video down below, guys. I haven't tried that fragrance, so I just skipped that out. He says you can't go wrong with any of these, but I do think some of these are polarizing, like Ombré Leather Parfum, like By the Fireplace. But then some of them are very safe, like Stronger With You Intensely is a very safe fragrance. Creed Aventus Absolu, if you don't mind being unsafe with your money, it's very safe fragrance overall in itself. So yeah, overall, pretty cool list. What do you guys think of these 8 fragrances that Alex Costa has chosen? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our last Alex Costa reaction video up here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.